Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. This is episode 32, WordPress versus FASO for artist websites. I'm Lori Rivera.
And I'm Jamie Haney.
And welcome once again to Creative Type Podcast.
Hello.
Hello. Episode 32.
Yeah. So today is January 19th. It's freezing cold.
Yes. And windy.
And windy. Yes, it's really. We have an Arctic blast. Yeah.
We have snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Schools were out today.
Yes. It sucks. I hate it. I'm ready for spring. I'm not a winter person.
I don't know. I don't mind winter too much. It is a little chilly out there, though. It's a little chilly even for me.
I like the hibernation part of winter, and I love to see the trees without their leaves. I think they're so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And there is something quiet and soft about winter, but there's also brutal and cold. And that's part of that I don't like. But I do like being able to, especially being a gardener, I like being able to plan for the year ahead, and this is when the plants are resting and preparing for the spring that will be here, hopefully, in no time, right? We'll have Groundhog Day here in a couple weeks, so.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
It's going fast.
So, well, we thought we'd talk about two website options that you have. Now, there are tons of website options out there, but we have experience with both WordPress and FASO. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know if it's FASO or FASO. I'm going to say FASO.
Yeah. Just go with it. Yeah, isn't it an acronym anyway?
I think it's Fine Art Studio Online. Yeah, that's what it stands for.
I guess we should look that up.
Yeah, FASO. So, anyway, I used to use WordPress, and
let me stop you there. Did you use WordPress.com or WordPress.org? Because there's a difference.
Oh, I think WordPress.com.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to clear that up. Yeah.
Right. I've never used WordPress.org, but Jamie prefers WordPress. I prefer FASO, so we thought it'd be a good episode to just talk about some of the differences between them and the pros and cons of each, and just kind of introduce you to both.
Yep. And actually, I don't prefer WordPress over FASO. I've just got more experience. I've got more experience with WordPress, and also I'm getting better results with WordPress.
Right.
So we're kind of doing a little comparison here on what it can do, and a lot of people are scared of WordPress. I think that people think it's above their pay grade, you know what I mean? It's just too hard.
Well, it is a little bit more difficult than FASO. Yeah. FASO is very WYSIWYG,
Yeah.
You just click buttons here and there and you get what you want, and it's very clean. And not the WordPress isn't clean. I didn't mean like that, but WordPress requires a little more work,
it does.
To get it the way you want it to look.
Right, you have to do a little more training for yourself on that, and but it's doable. It's very doable. If I can do it, I think anybody can do it. So let's start off with so you had a WordPress.com site. Let's start off with that because that was a freebie, right? And then you upgraded.
No, I always
started right off.
Yeah, I always paid for it because if you don't pay, I don't know if it's still like this, but if you don't pay something, there are ads on your site, and I do not want ads on my site. Some of the ads they have are ridiculous.
I know, like Viagra or something.
I know, right? or foot cream or
fungus. Have you got a fungus?
Something crazy like that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's always something weird,
Yeah.
So I did not want that on my website. So I don't remember how much I paid, but it wasn't a whole lot. I think it was, I don't even remember how much it was.
Yeah, I think I still have ads on there unless you pay. But now I do not have any experience with the WordPress.com. I use the WordPress.org. And the difference is WordPress.com is that they host the site for you there on WordPress. And whereas WordPress.org, you have to have an outside source for your web hosting, which is no big deal. Those are like Bluehost, GoDaddy, HostGator, blah.
Right.
Fast Comment, that's who I currently use. And I had HostGator before, and they worked fine for a long time. And then all of a sudden, I think they got bought out. I think Bluehost and GoDaddy, I think they're all under the same umbrella of
Oh yeah.
owners. And it just went down, and the prices went up, and I found Fast Comment, and I'm happy with them so far.
Mhm.
But the difference is, you have to pay for your own hosting. So you go and you find a web hosting company like the ones I just said, and you find out which policy you want with them. It's not called a policy, which program or whatever it is. They good, better, best, that sort of thing, and decide what you want and how much bandwidth that you'll actually need, which is kind of a guessing game until you really know. And if if you're just starting out, if you don't have a lot of traffic, just take the lowest one. I am at the second from the bottom tier on mine, and I think it's too much. And I have a large website. I've got mine going since 2009. So there's a lot of blog posts, there's a lot of photos, there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of pages. So and I did upgrade because it kept telling me my resources were low, which that means basically space, I believe, that they're allotting for you to have. And, there's more technical stuff that we won't really get into today, like shared hosting. Like I'm on a shared hosting plan, which means I don't have a dedicated server, which can slow me down. But I'm sure that it's probably the same for FASO. It's just that they don't talk about it because they don't offer anything different.
Yeah.
So you can get started with WordPress.com for free. You do have to have hosting though, and so you can get that if you're just starting out. They run specials for first-time customers, so you can get it. I would say probably for less than $100 a year. You can buy a domain name for like what we say that was. The price has gone up on that.
Oh,
lately.
it's like 12 or 13 a year.
Yeah,
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Depends on where you find it at, right? You shop around and you get better prices because it doesn't matter where you buy it. And so get your domain name, and then you would get your web hosting company, and that could be the same thing or it could not be the same thing. I think some of them offer that. And then you would just have it's kind of if you don't know anything about WordPress, you definitely need to take some training. And there is lots of free training and courses that they offer, and that's what I would suggest doing. But that's kind of a rough start to how you would get started with WordPress.
Yeah.
And lots of hair pulling. I took actually when I first got started in this a long time ago, I came over from Blogger. I don't know if you ever had a Blogger site.
I did. Yeah.
I had it for a few years, and I had a few years worth of blogs on there, and I wanted to start selling my, look more professional and selling my work. So I decided with a WordPress site, and I transferred all my blog posts over there. So Blogger was totally free. So I didn't have any overhead costs at all. Mm-hmm. And then when I switched over, I had to get the hosting. But it worked. It transferred just fine, and it works really well. And then what did you have? Were you selling your artwork on your WordPress.com site?
I can't remember if I had a shopping cart set up on there or not. I don't think I did. I think it was just like a portfolio. I don't think I had e-commerce on there.
I think they kind of nickel and dime you to death on that .com, don't they? Like if you wanted this, you had to pay extra for that. And so that was a definite. Yeah. And did you go straight from that to the FASO? I think you are the one that found
I did.
It.
Yes. Yeah. I had Blogger like you, and it was basically like an image blog for me. I didn't even write anything. I just used it as a like a record
photo journal.
A record keeping system for my art, just to record the date that I painted it and just put the photo on there and everything. And then when I decided to upgrade my site and like you were saying, be more, professional with my website and stuff, I decided to get a domain name and switch over to WordPress.
Okay. I remember you having that, and I remember you not really liking it, but we had different WordPress, so I couldn't really help you with it.
Yeah.
When I started to say this and I forgot where I was going with it, but I took lynda.com courses. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took an extensive lynda.com. I think I got a free month, and I poured every waking hour into that learning WordPress.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's how I learned how to do it. And
Mhm.
I still have the notes for it. And there was a lot of crying and a lot of hair pulling. It was,
And a lot of cussing.
yes, the learning curve is sharp, but there's a lot of benefits, I think, to it.
Yeah.
So when you found FASO, how did you find that? Do you remember?
I just did a search for websites for artists, I think, and it came up. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I looked at FASO years ago, and like when I was looking at WordPress. And at that time, they were way more expensive than I could afford.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I think they have come down in price over the years. If I'm remembering correctly, don't hold me to that. But I think when I first found them, I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So, but
And then you and Vicky invested in a FASO site. I think you've even had it like for about a year before I joined in. Didn't
yeah,
you?
I think I've had mine for a couple years. I could look
Yeah.
in my documents on there and see, but yeah, it's been probably a couple years for me.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I switched from WordPress over to FASO is because I like their templates. They're
Yeah.
very clean, and I
Very
like that
clean.
look.
Mm-hmm.
I love that look. I wanted a very clean look where I want the focus on my art and not the design of the website.
Yeah.
And I could never get my WordPress site formatted the way I wanted it to look. I just couldn't, and I used to be a web developer.
Well, things have changed a lot since you've done that.
Yeah, right. Things have changed a whole lot.
Well, I think
so
you
I
can
mean,
get that. You can get that with WordPress.com, but with with WordPress.org, you could have a lot more control over how your website looks. And
right,
.com was kind of the intro into it. It was more set. Here's your stuff. They're helping you with it, but you only had a few things to choose from. Which I'm sure it's come along further now with the introduction of the block editor, which I don't even know if you're familiar with it or not.
Yes, I am.
With first started out as a plugin, Gutenberg, I think, and it really has changed the way you build these websites, and it's so much easier. I mean, it's confusing because that's not how I was used to building it, but it is. I can see how it's going to be faster for my web loading time. And once I get it figured out, I'm currently working on mine right now. I'm going from classic editor to the new block editor. And I've got my site on a, what is that called? Like a dummy site right now where you can work on it. Staging site, that's what it's called. And so I'm working in the back room on my website right now. But, and that you can't see anything that I've done yet on my actual site because I haven't transferred it over. But I do think that if you had the capabilities that you have now, you would have liked it better. But back then, we just didn't have the capabilities. And FASO, I have to say, I joined in last year. Or no, it was like late November 22, I think, 2022.
That sounds about right.
Because I had it for all of 2023. So now here's a tip, and I'll put this in the show notes. If you want to get started with a FASO, you can get half off for the entire year. That's how I started. And so let's talk about real quick, how much is the pricing? I think it was like $300.
I paid $312, and I have the gold plan. Now, I don't know what it is now, but as of fall of 2023, that's how much I paid.
Yes. And I think the gold plan, that's the lowest plan you can get, right?
No, I think there's a silver, gold, and platinum. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because you have very limited on the silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had the gold too. And I will say one of the nice things was that I got it for half price. But now my year is up. I knew I didn't want to renew it, so I'm going month by month. And that is $30 a month, and that's hurting because I'm trying my hardest to get back to my WordPress, and I was using both. I have been. I'm still using both websites. I'm using FASO and WordPress.
You were using. Oh, go ahead.
And well, here's the reason why I'm going back to my WordPress site. It's because I really enjoyed my FASO site. I thought it was simple, it was clean, it was easy to use, but there are shortcomings. But the main problem was that I wasn't getting any traffic there. Like, I wasn't getting any organic traffic, like from Google
Mhm.
or Pinterest. And I was pinning things, and I was putting in meta tags and all, SEO and things to get found, and it just wasn't happening.
Mhm.
So I delved into my analytics, and I saw that the traffic that I was getting was mostly from my WordPress site, because I had links
Yeah.
on my WordPress site to my FASO site, because I was selling just originals on my FASO. And on my WordPress site, I still had my e-commerce up with using WooCommerce, and I was selling prints and some small originals like mono prints and printing paintings on little blocks and things like that. I still have that set up the same way, and I'm in a mad rush now to try to move everything back over before I'm billed again, which is like in a week and a half.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up having to buy another month.
That's definitely a good reason to switch back, though. If you're not getting the
I think
traffic
so.
you want, I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's a big deal. Now, with me, I don't think my traffic is that much different with FASO than it was with WordPress. And I have actually been able to, with FASO, I think it's very search engine friendly. I have really good Google rankings with my FASO site.
That's great. But now, see, I've heard the opposite. I've heard that FASO isn't very good with the search engines and
Really?
as compared to WordPress. Yes, I've heard other users say that WordPress was much better at getting traffic.
That's interesting.
It's just used more too. I think it's Google friendly is what it is. That's the deal. It's very Google friendly as far as being able the little bots being able to crawl the sites.
Yeah, it seems like mine is doing pretty well though. I think it has a lot to do with the keywords you use on your site, the title of your pages, and stuff like that too.
I also think it has a lot to do with how much you're updating your site, because Google wants you need to be updating your site constantly. Basically,
I totally agree. Yeah.
One thing that kind of bothered me was the owner of FASO, and he seems like a super nice guy, but he keeps saying that SEO doesn't matter. And I just cannot get on board with that, because I think it does. And you obviously do too, because you're checking to see how you're ranking all the time. So I think SEO is important. And there's people asking about it in the help forums and stuff, and he's just telling people that it doesn't matter. And I don't care for that. But, they do offer a lot of help. And that's one of the things that I will miss about FASO is, they have this member handbook that you can go through. They've really made a nice program. So if you're just starting out and you're looking for something, I think that FASO is the way to go if you're just starting out and you don't want to have a lot of training into it. And it's definitely. They also have a support forums, which is like support.boldbrush.com, where they have lots of Q&A, which I don't think you take advantage of, do you, Lori?
No, I don't.
I do.
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah. I just can't find the time to fit everything in,
Well, I have joined some of the forums, and I get like an email when somebody asks a question, and I can delete it, or I can go and see what the answers were. And I just kind of keep track with it that way. And they also have lots of videos. Like once a week, they have a video interviewing someone that's a FASO member that is usually very successful, which is kind of nice to boost your self-confidence that you can do it too. They also have a podcast. It's called The Bold Brush Show. Yeah. Do you ever listen to that?
I have listened to that. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And I think they kind of, the one thing that kind of bugs me is they don't really branch out with artists. It's all very traditional, representational artists, it seems like to me, for majority of everything. So
it does seem that way, but I have found quite a few abstract artists on there too.
Well, that's good. That's good.
There are some, but I think they do lean towards representational.
Right. And they're all very good artists, excellent artists.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Excellent artists, and I like the show. I like the people. I think there's two of them that do the interviews, and that's usually what it always is. It's interviewing someone, and you kind of get there. And I love always hearing an artist story, right? And they give out good advice, the interviewee and the interviewer. And so I still will listen to that, even though I'm getting rid of my FASO. And who knows? I'm never, going to close the door. I may go back someday. But right
Yeah.
now, this is the plan for now. So what other benefits do you see with FASO?
Well, I was just going to say, the number one thing that I like about FASO is the way they have the art database set up. You upload a picture of your art, you put the title in, you can put the inventory ID, you put where it's located, whether it's at a gallery or if it's not for sale or if it's sold, or, the price, you put in the size. I mean, it's got everything imaginable in there, and you can put private notes in there. You can put a description. It's just a wonderful, wonderful database. Like, I love it because I can search, like, if I know one word of one of the titles of my paintings, if I know even one word to the title, I can stick that in and it'll pull up all my art that has that word in the title.
That's pretty handy. I know that you've talked about that database before, and it reminds me of Artwork Archive.
It does.
That they offer.
Yeah.
And it's included with your membership. So definitely, if you have a FASO site, take advantage of that. Because I think that is worth a lot of money just in that alone, having the ability to do that. Now, I'll have to see if I can't. Did you have to do anything to create this database? Because I want to back this up. So I download a spreadsheet, hopefully, with all that information on it.
Yeah, you can download it. You can download a spreadsheet.
Okay, good. I'll have to look for that.
It won't download your photos though.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I've looked for a way to do that, and I can't find a way. So, cause see, I got really messed up last year because you know how I keep everything on my computer. I keep everything on my computer and Google Sheets and stuff, and then I also have it in FASO. Well, I got behind in keeping everything on my computer last year.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and download all my stuff from FASO onto my computer. And I was looking for an easy way to do that, and I can't find an easy way to do that except to go to each individual one. Now, I don't know. I haven't tried contacting them to see if, like, maybe they could send me a file.
Ooh, like I would do that, because that's going to be a lot of work.
Maybe a zip file. They could send me something like that with all my images. That would be helpful.
Right. And that's another plus with FASO. They usually get back with you really quick. Like you can ask a question. They have several people working for them, and you can just get on and text with someone or put in like a troubleshooting ticket, and they have always gotten back with me really fast. So I've always been impressed with that. And they're very friendly, very nice. I've never felt talked down to or anything. I was just having an issue with my Stripe account. And they were real nice. Now, they couldn't really do much about it because, they don't own Stripe. And that Stripe is your credit card processing company.
Right. Yeah, they use both PayPal and Stripe.
Right.
Do they use anything else? I think those are the only two.
I think that is the only two. Yeah. But that covers pretty much it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It does. The one thing they're missing is Apple Pay. I think that is gaining a lot. I even use Apple Pay. I haven't figured out how to get the money out of my wallet yet.
I've never used it.
What's that?
Well, you might want to find out how to do that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's only like $18, but still, I don't want to lose that. But my son sent me $18 Apple Pay. But unless, I could pay something with it, but I don't know enough about it. Is it gonna, what if I'm buying something that's more than $18? Will it not take it? Or, what do you do? I don't know. And then I cannot find on there anywhere how to, send myself the $18. So, anyway, I kind of got off track there, but that's really annoying to me. I hate it when the software's smarter than I am.
Yeah, something else I like about FASO is that they have that monthly competition.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You can enter the competition to try and win money for
don't they
artwork.
let you do that 3 times a month, right? You get free 3 times a month?
I think, let's see, with the gold plan, I'm not sure what you get with the silver or the platinum, but with the gold plan, I know it's at least 2 entries a month that you don't have to pay for. It might be 3, but I know it's at least 2. And I have taken advantage of that many months, and now I've never won any money or anything or an award, but I have gotten in the top 15%.
Oh, that's good.
So
now, I will say that I noticed when I would list something. Now, I never took advantage of what you're talking about, the contest. I never took advantage of that. But if I would list a new painting, which I notice you list stuff quite often, that's when my views would jump up. And then if you go deeper into the analytics, and I would look, and it would just be people that were also on FASO that were looking at it. So it was basically other artists. But, that's okay because artists buy artwork too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I noticed that my traffic was coming from that when I would list a painting. So if you're going to join FASO, make sure you list a bunch of stuff. Maybe, piecemeal it out. One a day if you got like 10 to put on. And that way you'll get views every day. Take advantage of that. And don't list it like at 1 o'clock in the morning when nobody's up. So, think about that.
That would be me.
Yeah, me too. So take advantage of doing it at the good times. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening when people are done eating and they're flipping through their phones and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how much, like, Google ads they do. I don't know if they do any.
Yeah, I don't know.
Google ads. Not, Etsy does, I think, but, Etsy. We won't even talk about them. So I think, it really is. FASO really is a good option. Like I said, though, I am a WordPress fan. It is harder. Nothing is easy with WordPress. It hasn't been, at least for me. But it has a lot of pros. I mean, it powers over, I looked this up, it powers over 43% of the websites that are on the internet. It's good for all kinds of stuff, like a blog or portfolio, a company website, or an e-commerce site. It all covers that. It's free. So that is, takes the barrier down. You just need to find a web hosting provider, which is nominal compared to, what you're paying with FASO. At least I feel like it is. It's a much cheaper way to go if you're tech savvy.
Now you can do a blog on FASO too. They have blogging on there also.
They do. Yeah, and I really dislike how they have it set up. I mean, really, some of their software is like in the dark ages, I feel like. That's another con for me was the FASO web, the web email, isn't that what they called it?
Right, email newsletter.
Well, that too.
No, I know what you're talking about. Your email interface. Yes.
Yes. Ugh, it was awful. I mean, I thought it was in 1995 again.
I don't use that.
It's so bad.
I just put it on my phone.
I have it on my phone, but I don't have it on my computer, and so I would have to go into the web email for that. But also, what you just said, what was it? What did you just say?
Email newsletter?
No, before that. No, and I don't like the newsletter either. I think it's archaic as far as how it looks. You have very little control over what it looks like. It's very irritating compared to what we're used to, like MailChimp. And I found this new one, recommended through this mastermind that I'm in called Email Octopus. And there's a really nice free version. So I definitely would recommend that to everybody. And I've recommended that to you and Vicki. I think Vicki's using it.
No, I do. Go ahead.
You do. Oh, I was just going to say, you don't have any automation in FASO, which sucks, because you need to set up an automation for your when you're gathering email lists. And another thing, it never told me when I hadn't someone sign up for it. I did not like that. I never got an alert that I got a new subscriber. Really?
I do.
Maybe it was a glitch on my end because I never did get anything.
Yeah, and I actually do use the email newsletter software that FASO provides. The reason I use it is just because it's there, it's free.
Yeah, it's all wrapped up in one.
It's
you really
one-stop shop.
Everything.
If you're looking for a one-stop shop solution, FASO's the way to go. If you're a little more tech savvy and you want more control over everything, then WordPress is the way to go.
Yeah, or it's one of the others, but I prefer WordPress over any of the others. Just like with anything, if you got a one-stop shop, they're not going to be great at everything, and they're not. They're really good at a few things, but they're really bad at a few others. Like the newsletter, I think just stinks. It's just really.
I don't think it's. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay.
It does what I need it to do.
Yeah, well, it doesn't do what I need it to do. I don't like that.
I would like to do automations, but it's not at the top of my to-do list right now.
Oh, it's up there on mine. Automation system.
Oh, I know.
Oh, that is the way it is. That yes, that's the way to go, man. WordPress is also the fastest growing and most popular content management system. It's got a 63.3% market share. So what's
Oh,
it tell you?
wow.
I mean, even Disney uses WordPress. I mean, it's just, of course they've got professionals that know the ins and outs of doing it. But there, where there's a will, there's a way. Like I said, there's lots of training. The community is huge. You go in there, you sign up, get your username, you ask a question, you can find it. Plus there's just millions of questions that's already been asked. You could go and search. So really, it just takes a little digging. You can always find an answer for what it is that you're asking. You just have to look. And, I think that is with everything now. Google is at our fingertips. If you have a question, you can Google it and you can find an answer. Really, there's no reason for us to go, I don't know, because we would know if we would just take our lazy ass up and go Google it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So WordPress websites get over 20 billion page views each month. I thought that was crazy, but that's what it is.
That's a lot.
So they have over 10,000 free themes too. So why on earth anybody want to look through that?
Wow, 10,000.
10,000.
Okay, I think that's too many.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would spend hour upon hours looking through the themes, and
Right.
I would just be in that paralysis mode where it's like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I have so many choices. I'm not making any choice at all.
Right. I agree with you. Yeah. So you got to just find something you like and go with it and stop looking for the others. And that's one of the nice things about FASO is, they had limited themes and really there were more than there needed to be. I think they could probably get rid of a few of those old looking ones.
Mm-hmm.
But, it is what it is. So really both are good. If you're the beginning and you want it easy, I suggest FASO, and I know that you do. And WordPress is definitely an option too if you're just a little more, I wouldn't even say tech savvy. I would just say more like you like to dig in and see how, if you don't know it, you'll find the answer. And that's but it just depends how much time you got, because I do fall down the rabbit hole. And there's been times where it just stops me. I know it stops me in my tracks because I have got to figure out why in the world isn't this working the way it should be working. And I can, just go down a rabbit hole and searching for that.
And see, I'm not like that. I want everything done for me. I want my time to paint and, I don't want,
okay. I don't know. I guess I like to have more control.
Yeah.
That. I want to have a little more control. I'm a bit of a control freak. I admit it. Well, do you have any questions actually about WordPress that maybe I could answer?
I don't think so.
Like what it does or anything. Oh, I will say that there's a couple different options if you want to have an e-commerce site. So WooCommerce is what I use.
Yeah.
And it's a plugin. So, and also another one is Equid. And I've used that a long, long time ago, before I even had a WordPress site. And I've used it. It was okay. And I think it's probably just as good as WooCommerce is now. But I've just got everything set up with WooCommerce. It's just so easy. And I bought a few extra plugins for my WooCommerce, like some scam things. Because for a while there, do you remember I was getting all these fake orders?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was terrible. That. Yeah.
It was awful.
And I got a couple of those fake orders, I believe, either they're fake or someone used a bad credit card on my FASO site. So that's not, it is not completely safe against those either. Now, when I say fake order, that means someone went on there and they ordered something on my website and they used a credit card number that was not theirs, apparently. And sometimes these people will make hundreds of orders and they just try one credit card after another. So they're scammers, or they've bought these credit card numbers or gotten them somewhere. So that is a bad thing. And you do have to have security measures in place. And again, all of that just requires a little looking into on your part. And it's as easy as what are the best security plugins for WordPress? And that's kind of just how you start. I use WordFence. It's a really good one. They have a free and a paid version, and they watch over my stuff and other little plugins that make it handy on your site as far as keeping people safe. And I have a SSL. Now, I think we have that too on FASO, right? That's the little lock sign. But they don't put it on there automatically because remember Vicky was having a hard time with that. You have to ask them.
I do remember that.
Yeah, you have to ask them to turn that on, which is ridiculous. Why wouldn't you want that on? Everybody needs that. That's the HTTPS. And if the S is missing, it's not a secure site. And, Google will dock you heavily for that. You cannot be selling something and not have a secure site.
Right.
Almighty Google.
Yeah.
We got to make them happy.
Until the next best thing comes along, right?
Well, yeah. I don't even know what that's going to be, right?
Yeah, who knows? If you remember when Yahoo was everything. Now we're getting off topic, but,
It's okay. Yeah. It's been a long time. I remember that, though, yeah. Yahoo! You remember the commercial?
Yeah. And Alta Vista and the other ones. Oh, gosh, there were so many search engines back then. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
But
Google just gobbled them up, didn't they?
They did,
yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. Well, I can't think of anything else to say, but, this wasn't a podcast about slamming one or the other. They're both really, really good options for the artist who wants to either you just want to show off your work, or if you want to do both, show off your work and sell it. Both of these are good. Actually, I think if I was not going to sell my work online, I would not invest in the FASO. I don't think they have a free program, do they? They were just
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to save a buck, but if money is no object, I don't know of anybody who falls into that category, but you could get the silver plan, which you're limited on, I think, even on how many things you list. And you could, because it does have the all-encompassing, the teachings, the course, not so much courses, but the how-tos and the nice forums that they have, the Q&A and the videos and the podcasts and the newsletter. Yeah. It's all wrapped up. I'm sure that, well, I shouldn't say I'm sure, but I would assume that the silver includes that as well, the email.
One more thing I want to mention, too. If you're a teaching artist, you can upload your class videos straight to FASO. They have video hosting on there, and you can sell your classes straight from your website, and it is so easy.
Oh, that is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple
I noticed
on
you
there.
had those on there. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, you could do the same thing on WordPress. What else you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can do that. But they did make it easy on FASO. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and also I will say that one of the nice things about WordPress, and I don't think FASO does this, and maybe they will in the future, but they kind of are slow to adapt, it seems like to me. But have you heard of Printify? These print-on-demand printers.
I have.
So there's a plugin that I can hook up my shop, and it will integrate with my WordPress, and it'll just look like they don't have to leave my site to go to my print-on-demand. So, which is really nice because if you have it integrated on your website, then they're not getting other options. Like, if you go to Fine Art America, which I have something there, if somebody types in, I don't know, Raven, Black Raven, and I've got a bunch of Black Ravens, but then they're going to see like 10 million other Black Ravens.
Right.
And they're going to say, oh, well, maybe you'll like this. And the competition is being shoved down their throat while they're trying to look at mine. So I don't like that. So, the WordPress is very nice for that. You can integrate Printify, and there's another Printful, and there's just a bunch that you can.
I have to add on to that. Yeah. FASO has, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have print on demand also.
They do.
You can do your prints right through them.
Yes, you can, but actually it is the same people that are using these other ones. I've looked into that, and it is not user-friendly. That is a poo-poo on them.
Okay, I haven't tried it.
That is the con. Yes, because I looked into that. I wanted to do it. And finding answers, like I was on the forum, people were asking, what's the quality on this, and who prints this? And nobody was answering them, and which I found to be not good. I don't think a lot of people take advantage of that, so there isn't a lot of answers yet for it. But I did locate somewhere that they disclosed who is the printer for that, and it's basically, there's certain ones that do this large print on demand, and it was just one of those. It was the same kind of like, I think is it Printify, I believe, is just a software company. They're like they're like the middleman. They do not do any of the printing. They hook you up with the people that do the printing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same deal. FASO is the middleman for this. They're not actually doing the printing themselves. They're hooking you up with the people that are doing the printing.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah. I don't know
You know,
a whole lot about it.
yeah.
I just know that they offer it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fine, but it was not user friendly because I tried to, I thought, oh, this would be great. I tried to set my stuff up on there, and yeah, I didn't get very far, and I gave up because I was like debating on, is this even worth it at that point? And I started looking at maybe I need to shut down my FASO site, and so that's kind of where I left it at. Since I knew I was going to change back over to WordPress, I stopped trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it is there. It is there.
Yep.
So both of them are great. If you're wanting something quick and easy and you got the money to spend, buy FASO. If you're tech savvy and got more tech brains than you do money, maybe go with WordPress. It's the poor artist's websites. But I like them both. I think they're both better than Etsy.
Yes.
Etsy's just God, that's just
they're not. It's not even a web hosting.
No, but a lot of people use that as their store.
Right, as their website. Yeah.
And I guess if that's the only thing that you've got to get something out there, it's better than nothing. But we've seen it change so much throughout the years, and it's changed, I think, for the worse. It's not like it used to be. It used to be known as a handmade. And another thing I want to bring up, if you're an Etsy fan, I'm sorry, but in my mastermind, we had our class last night, and we were talking on Zoom, and she made a really good point. When somebody says, and they're bragging about something they bought off Etsy, they don't say the artist's name. They don't say, oh, look at this beautiful macrame thing that I bought from blah, blah, blah. They say, oh, look at this beautiful macrame that I bought from Etsy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's never, it's always, the artist is always like anonymous. It's just Etsy. People say Etsy. And even on the commercials, they say Etsy. They don't say, oh, this artist, Lori Rivera from Evansville, Indiana made this. They don't say that. It's always just Etsy. And, Etsy, in their fine print, you're not allowed to take their customers. That's their customer, not your customer.
Mhm.
So, what kind of getting off subject, but yeah, thumbs down on Etsy for me. Okay, well, we got anything else we want to add? WordPress versus FASO for artist websites.
I think that covers the biggest majority of everything. Yeah. All
right. Well, let's wrap it up.
I'm sure there are things that we missed, but I think we got most of it.
Yeah, I think we did good. Okay. So I want to remind everyone that we have our 1-year anniversary here at Creative Type Podcast.
Yay!
January 24th, right? Isn't that the date, Lori?
I think so, yeah. January 24th, yeah.
And we're having a giveaway. And so we just wanted to see if you wanted to join in on the giveaway. And the way you can do that is to leave us a written review, and then shoot us an email at creativetypepodcast@gmail.com. And let us know that you left it so we can go in there and check it and find it and then put you on the list to be in the running for a tote bag that's got the colorful logo from Creative Type Podcast on there. But it says Creative Type Artist. And you'll see pictures if you go to the website, creativetypepodcast.com. You'll see the pictures there. And we would love for you to share the podcast with your friends. That's how we get found by other people. Give us a rating. Even if you don't want the tote bag, just give us some stars. We would love that. Please do. Share this. This is how we get found and how we move up the ladder. Sometimes I think we're talking to crickets, Lori. What do you think?
Yeah.
So let us know you're out there, and we'll give you shout outs if you leave reviews with your name on there, and we would just appreciate it. Any kind of interaction with you to let us know that we're doing good. If you have an idea for the podcast, let us know. Email or on any of our social medias, which is basically just Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
And YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're on YouTube. So thanks for listening. And next week we'll be back. And then after that, we'll have our 1-year anniversary episode after that. So we're excited.
All right.
All right. I guess we'll let you go now. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks,
Lori.
Jamie.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.